Good morning, friends, family, folks on LinkedIn, folks on Facebook. I'm really excited for another episode of Zoomin with Zack. Can't wait to introduce you to my guest. And just to let you know, we're going early today, so I hope everyone's starting off their day well, got their coffee, excited for an exciting close to the week. And without further ado, let's get the show started. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Zoomin with Zack. It's been a fun journey so far creating this show. I've had some really great guests on, and I have a list now. There's about 10 or 15 folks already lined up for the next month or two. So really excited to continue to bring some amazing people to you. A little bit of housekeeping. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or Facebook, please like and share. Also, while we're chatting, you can always put in questions. You can give us comments if you're really enjoying the show, if you like what our guest is saying and you want to connect with them or any of that stuff. Just throw a comment, throw a like, give us a thumbs up. All that stuff is helpful and appreciative. And again, I do the show to bring you some amazing people, folks I've met over my many years in business, in philanthropy, and in all different circles. I love to introduce you to these people. And I really want to make sure you have some really lasting connections that come from this. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to my guest today. I want her to say something in case you can guess who she is. Guest, can you say something to the people?
I would love to. So we embrace a quote by Maya Angelou, and she said, "You can't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back." And we help people remove that extra glove and get in the game as pitchers as well as catchers.
I love it. I love it. I'm really excited to introduce you to this guest. I kind of planned her during this month. This is Autism Acceptance Month. I was about to say awareness. We're changing it to Autism Acceptance Month. And without further ado, I'm super happy to introduce you to my good friend, Dr. Bev Weinberg. Bev, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Zach, thank you so much. I am so excited to be on Zooming with Zach today.
Awesome. I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to have you. Now, I love to tell folks a little bit about where this connection came from. We actually met through the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. So shout out to the Monco Chamber. You reminded me at which event too. It was at an awesome event at the Ambler Savings Bank. And this was actually one of the most impressive banks I've been in. Like I went in that space and I was like, okay, I really like this. But we met there and forged a good friendship. I mentioned to you that I used to work with the autistic community. I used to be a camp counselor at Outer Limits in Upper Marion. And I've always been an ally of the organization, but not to the extent that you had. And I really enjoyed learning about your brand. And we even did some brainstorming on ways to do some more creative marketing and stuff like that. I remember that. But definitely tell folks a little bit about what you do, what Integrated for Good is, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So Integrate for Good just started year 3. We are a relatively newer startup organization. My background, I'm an occupational therapist, and I worked in the disability space in school districts for about 25 years. And I realized that we were leaving a lot of talent on the table. There were a lot of students with disabilities being underestimated. I kept looking for other organizations that I could refer them to. So they could really have their talent captured, so they would gain confidence, but then also the community would benefit from their contributions. I didn't find that. So one day I looked in the mirror and I said, this is a void and I think I can fill it. And that's how Integrate for Good was born.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you actually sent me some pictures. Tell me what's going on in this one. Let's put this one up.
Yeah, so it makes me realize that we had so much fun when we could bring people together, but we're excited to be doing that in the virtual space still. But this picture was taken at Indian Valley Public Library in Telford, Pennsylvania. And it shows our the way that we love to bring together corporate people and people with disabilities. We're trying to get more people with disabilities in the corporate space as employees.
Right.
But this was a day when Univest Bank employees came out to volunteer with us and put their corporate social responsibility values into action. And then we had all of our neurodiverse leaders, and we were doing the Sleepy Mat Project, which is where we take all those plastic bags that you might have in your closets, under your sink. You know, you can't put them in the recycle bin and you're not sure what to do with them. So we cut them, tie them, make them into plastic yarn, weave them on wooden looms, and make sleepy mats for people experiencing homelessness in our community. And
Is that these?
Yeah, so there it is. So those are the mats. And you can see we went from being in person on university campuses, at libraries, in corporations, in senior centers. We are every Friday at the Elmwood Park Zoo in Norristown. Then we switched to a completely contactless, safe drop-off, pickup kind of way of doing this project because substance use disorder peaked during COVID, so homelessness peaks along with that. There was still such a need for people with disabilities to have leadership roles and for people who are experiencing homelessness to have the support of the community that can meet them where they are. So we make these sleeping mats and partner with other nonprofits who are boots on the ground outreach to get these sleeping mats into the hands of people that, you know, are street homeless. So we were really excited to keep it going during the pandemic.
That's so awesome. That's awesome. And we talked a little bit before this. I was telling folks that you've been a big inspiration for me because I know the struggles that you have running this nonprofit. It's tough, you know, to do so, but like you were able to really push forward during the pandemic. Right out the gate, you know, I didn't really embrace virtual life too quickly, and you adapted and moved and shifted, you know, instantly. So definitely kudos to you. But I know that was a struggle. I know it was tough.
Yeah, it was tough because what I had to do was kind of stop saying what was almost just coming out of my mouth just now, which was, I'm not a tech person. So the first step was turn off that negative talk. You're going to learn to be maybe not a tech person, not quite there yet, but I'm going to find out people who can help me. I'm going to reach out, and I'm going to believe that I can figure this out. So we were so thankful that Zoom donated their services to us, and we realized that as we saw, you know, instantly social isolation and loneliness just increasing. We're like, I was the biggest skeptic. Can you really build community in a digital space? I didn't think so, because we were all about bringing people together, getting people proximate to each other that don't normally get to interact and kind of reduce that stigma, build bridges. And I thought, how the heck am I going to do that in little Zoom Brady Bunch boxes on a screen, right? And I'm thrilled that I proved myself wrong, that we were able to build community and make connections. And there are people that I have to stop and think. I'm like, I feel like I know them so well from our Zoom events. I'm like, wait, I never met them in person. That's hard to believe because I didn't think technology would help us in the ways that it did. So I think just being open-minded, believing you can do it, and building a team and finding people who know what you don't know, admitting what you don't know, admitting you need help and asking for help was the secret.
Right.
And then having people step up to help us. That's what
Of
really made it happen.
I know exactly what you mean. So listen, here's something I want to do, and we do this every show. Is I'm going to ask you some questions, and they're random. So it's time for 1, 2, 3 random questions here on Zoomin with Zack. So what you're going to do is you're going to give me a 3-digit number. All right. The numbers cannot be the same, and it can be any random number. I got a question that corresponds with each number, and I'm going to ask you those. So give me your lucky 3-digit number.
I'm going to say 482.
482. And it's funny, I have to randomize my questions more because 8 has come up a lot in these.
Oh, interesting.
I already know what question that is. But let's go to 4. All right, here you go. What's one of the biggest hurdles you've overcome or didn't overcome, and what have you learned from it?
I would say there's something in business we call founder syndrome. And it's where you're really passionate about what you want to start, and then you just go like a bull in a china shop and just power through and think, you know, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to get it done at my speed. And I had to overcome that because I would stay a one-woman show. And the people with disabilities in our community deserve so much more than that, so much more than what I can bring. So the hurdle was realizing that, first of all, I couldn't do it alone, and figuring out who are my collaborators going to be. And then starting that networking, like we met through the Chamber of Commerce, right? Reaching out, getting involved in organizations, talking to people, finding that synergy, and being able, like I kind of said earlier, I think it's really hard for people that start things, that are entrepreneurial and innovative, to just slow down a little bit and to build that team around you and to see the value in collaboration. So that was a lesson that, I had to stop myself and really look at, how can we build capacity by building a team? And sometimes that means understanding that people do things differently than you do them and bring so much value. And I would say for me, the hurdle was stepping back and making room for other people to make a difference with us. And that's been instrumental in in being able to get to where we are now.
I resonate very well with that. As an entrepreneur, I've gone down that path of figuring out, how do I scale this and grow this? And I've had interns and I've had folks that I've tried to train up, and I have a problem kind of relinquishing decision making and execution a lot. And
I'm a little bit of a control freak.
Yeah.
But when you're aware of that and you can let go of that, it is so liberating. But it's hard. It's really hard.
Indeed. Eight is your next question, and your 8 is, what does your ideal workday look like?
Well, in the startup space, what I love about it is that no 2 days look the same. For some people, that would drive them completely crazy. If you like predictability and routine, don't start a nonprofit. I tell people, I thrive in that organized chaos, I call it. So my ideal workday probably would be a combination of things. So it's up to me to write the grants that bring in the funding for some of what we do. So I actually enjoy that. I like reaching out to other people and letting them know how they can kind of financially power the work that we're doing. So I would say a little bit of grant writing, a little bit of networking, and then throwing in one of our virtual volunteer events. My ideal workday would be an in-person volunteer event.
Right.
But for right now, our commitment to keeping everyone safe is having just diverse people get on a 1-hour call and give back, whether that's through our kindness rocks, our military gratitude project, our hope notes for people experiencing food insecurity, where we put notes into bags and boxes of food that go out, with other nonprofit partnership. So an ideal workday for me would be shifting gears a few times and fitting all that in.
Gotcha. And another quick reminder to folks who are watching, if you are an ally of the autistic community, the neurodiverse community, if you have someone in your family who is neurodiverse, definitely, search out Integrated for Good. You might not know of them. They're not the biggest nonprofit in the space yet.
Big, I love yet.
But they're definitely one to follow and work with, and I recommend you all do so. The last question I had here is a fun one. What skill set did you gain or improve during quarantine?
That's a great one. I would say becoming friends with technology. I was scared of technology. The second I would get an error message or things didn't upload, I was on the phone, in the beginning with Geek Squad. Shout out to Geek Squad. I'm like, just so you know, in 10 seconds, my computer is going to be out the second story window. I'm like, I need you to jump in and have an intervention.
Right.
So understanding the technology and what helped me, even Geek Squad is great, but what helped me even more is Nick Welsh, who is our IT guru. He's our photographer. He's our videographer. I could go on and on about Nick Welsh. Nick is neurodiverse himself and is amazing at technology. He's our web designer. And he's very patient with me and has taught me so much. And I think for me, having him as an ally in understanding technology is the skill set that I've been able to kind of up my game a little bit and continue to meet the needs of our community while we have to rely on technology to keep us close when we have to be physically apart.
Right. That was great. Technology played a little role in my change, over quarantine as well. I was already fairly technology savvy, but I really never knew how to edit video. And I actually
Oh,
was not too skilled at the platform we're using right now. Shout out to StreamYard. I know how to work you now. And that'll lead to a lot more fun, exciting shows and projects. Um,
and this
so,
platform looks great. It's my first time, being part of it, and I love the look and I love what it's able
all
to do.
right.
So this might be my next learning curve here. I love
That's the way to go. Shout out to Keith. He's interested. He's going to check you out. That's the beauty of this
it.
platform.
Thanks,
You can bring in
Keith.
people's comments and thoughts. So thanks for watching, Keith. So a quick shameless plug for myself. I'll even throw my social up there. For folks that want to connect with me, you can follow me at zjames_RHC on Instagram. And of course, I'm a business development consultant. I love helping businesses and brands grow. So happy to chat with anyone. You can always shoot me an email, info@Rebel Hill Consulting. I'm even starting to help people do shows and productions like this. We're kicking one off in May. I can't talk about it yet, but I'll be sharing it when it comes, and I'm really excited to do it. But
Very
again,
cool.
thanks everyone for watching. As you know, we keep these shows kind of short and sweet. I'm gonna kick it over to Bev to kind of close the show and say her parting words to all you beautiful people on LinkedIn and Facebook. And again, Bev, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Zach. So one thing I just want to leave everybody with is an exciting event we have coming up on May 6th. And it is a cookie tasting. And these are cookies like no other. One of the programs that Integrate for Good does is Empowerment Lab. And Empowerment Lab is something that we do with local school districts. And we work with students with autism, with Down syndrome, with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And we take them through a 10-week series. The culmination, the deliverable of that is creating a digital portfolio where they can highlight their strengths and abilities through photography and videography and video testimonials from people that know them well. And it helps them gain employment in our community. And one of our graduates of Empowerment Lab, her name is Hannah. She graduated from Hatboro Horsham High School. She's actually graduating this year, so almost. I graduated her a little bit early. She started the Communities Cup with her mom, and they wanted to have brick and mortar, and I know they're going to make that happen. Right now, they're a virtual company, and these are cookies that are delicious and huge. If you follow us on social media, Integrate for Good on Facebook and Instagram, we have a poll going on. You can get to pick the cookies we're going to put in our virtual engagement boxes, and when you are part of this networking event, you'll get this box of cookies. And you will, hear about their entrepreneurial journey, because we want entrepreneurship to be accessible to people of all abilities. And we're really excited to highlight Hannah and how she's been able to do that with the help of Integrate for Good, with the help of her family and the community. So we hope you'll join us May 6th. You can find that information on our website and on our social media. And as I said, those little engagement boxes we have going out, we're looking for corporate sponsors. Put your swag in there. Associate yourself with entrepreneurship, with innovation, with inclusion. And we would love to take your brand and tie it to this event. And we'd love to have you join us in that way. So we look forward to meeting new people, getting you involved in what we do, and seeing how your skills and your abilities and your strengths can contribute to making our community a one where no one's marginalized, people are off the sidelines and in the game. So thank you for Zach. Thank you to Zach for having me, and everybody stay strong and healthy. It was great to be here today.